app by opening phone to know that we are live here. We're just getting through this software update. This is version 11.4.9. People are calling this the holiday update. I do believe it includes elements, but it's possible we'll get another update before the first of the new year. This is version 2023.44.30.1, and we are waiting for it to continue or to finish installing. So there's a bunch of contactors under the car that are kind of opening and closing, and they're making loud noises right now, as is typical. If you've never waited the update to finish, try it out one time. It makes a lot of noises. It's kind of interesting. The fans just turned off, so it's starting to get a little bit chilly in here, but this light up here, these lights still work. I try not to do anything while the light's going on. So, oh, there, we just lost the screen. I think it's coming online here, guys. Oh, this is exciting. Okay, so screen went black and now came back. So I was out earlier testing the regular Autopilot. It had been a while since I had used software through now, but so you're take it out the highway here in a moment. Start driving, audio is going to get a little bit difficult or noisy because I'm using the GoPro audio and I don't have a microphone connected up, a proper, shotgun, really nice microphone connected up here. I also, unfortunately, on my hotspot that I'm connecting to do this live stream, ooh, the windows just went down. That surprised me because my left hand is on the door and it made a vibration, and I was like, what was that? So it's finishing doing all the control units and stuff on the screen. But I was out testing Autopilot earlier and I was having flashbacks to using it back in the day. And I actually tested, I'm gonna show this coming up. I covered the in-cabin camera. I had never tried that with Autopilot before because the in-cabin camera never worked with Autopilot before, but I had just kind of forgotten that. So I confirmed it. I just covered it up and I could drive all that I wanted without the camera working. So, and that, I think everybody who is used to using Autopilot already knows that. So basically everybody who has the standard features in a Tesla, they are, and by the way, my face is not on the camera because I'm going to just jump straight into driving as soon as this finishes. But they're used to not having the in-cabin camera operating. This is Autopilot's available with the base car when you buy a Model 3, Model Y, Model X now. I think also Model S. When you buy one of the cars, Autopilot is standard. You used to have to pay $3,000 for that software. Well, it doesn't use the camera at all. It just uses the nag on the steering wheel. And when I was out testing it earlier, prior to the update, I was able to confirm that on average, it was about 20 to 40 seconds. Sometimes I got up to 45 seconds between nags. But on average, it was right around 30 seconds, I want to say, for the nags. And then I did a test, and you'll see this. I'm going to be posting a before and after with this update because it includes the updated features with the safety recall. And those updates include more stringent requirements around traffic lights and stop signs when you're using auto steer on city streets. It also includes large fonts and I think noises, definitely a more prominent display to tell you to pay attention. And it also implements the strike system that the full self-driving testers are well aware of. And that strike system is you get 5 strikes and then you get the software removed from your car. So there's going to be a lot of people now that are new to this system. And I'm going to tell you right now, it sucks. Because it forces you to look at the road, and there's a lot that's not explained. The manual doesn't say you have to look at the road for exactly 7 seconds, and you can't look away for more than, you can't put your eyes on the road for less than 1 second. And I know that to be a fact. I've tested that. I've documented it. So for people that are new to this camera system, if you're looking away for like 3 seconds and then you go back to look at the road, fine, it won't complain. As long as you look at the road for longer than a second. It has to be 1 second or more that you keep your eyes on the road. As long as you're looking at it for 1 second or more, you can dart your head away for up to 7 seconds as much as you want. Okay, here the light's turned on. We're getting really close. So I call it the 7-1 rule, or the 1-7 rule. You can only look at the road. You have to look at the road for 1 second or more, and you can't take your eyes off the road for more than 7 seconds. So that combination is going to be there in addition to tracking the position of your head. So there's a lot of things with the in-cabin camera that I think people are going to have to get used to. And I can go over those differences in a little detail later. But as I was driving around earlier, I did get a strike. So I have, even though I was using Autopilot, users that have the self-driving software and they create a separate profile with Autopilot, if they're driving around and they misbehave or misuse the system, and they get they ignore the warnings. In my case with Autopilot, obviously, with anybody's case with Autopilot, it comes down to ignoring the apply slight pressure to the steering wheel, which I did. I ignored that. I let the blue flashing thing go across my screen, and then suddenly it timed out. So then what happened? I had a message that showed up that said, I have 3 strikes left. So you get 5. Now, it was probably 2 months ago that I got a strike. And I thought possibly after 1 week, because the timeout period now for everybody, if you abuse the system and you get all 5 strikes, like I said, I have 3 left now. But if you have all 5 strikes, and then you go down to 0, you have to wait a full week before you get them back. I thought after 1 strike, 1 week would reset it to 5. But I just confirmed tonight, because I got my 2nd strike out of 5. I just confirmed tonight now that after 1 week, you don't get your extra strikes back. So that was new information to me. And because I generally have learned how to pay attention. So I avoid those strikes. I was mentioning earlier, and again, I'm going to post this in the before video. I'm doing a before and after with the update. But in the before situation, and I think this more so applied to full self-driving, but now it's going to apply to Autopilot. You have to apply force on the steering wheel still, right? But what I have, and people can correct me if they have a different experience or they know it to be a fact, this is my observation, is that if you constantly react to the messages to apply force to the steering wheel, if you're just reacting and pure reactive nature, then the likelihood of you getting a strike is higher. It seems to have a kind of like a point or credit system, like, oh, he's a good driver because he's proactively putting force on the steering wheel, so we're not going to bother him as much. So I that's my perception, at least, with how it all works. But it's hard to know exactly, but I can tell you this for a fact. Back on version 10 of Full Self-Driving, when the in-cabin camera was operating, I got 2 strikes, so then I had 3 left. When I was down to 3, I had a strike just automatically out of nowhere. Actually, I was coming up to an intersection, and I used the scroll wheel to get. I was freaking out. I was like, "Oh no, that's horrible!" So I was like, "That had to have been an error." And then the other time, I was a little bit sleepy, and I don't know if it detected my tiredness. Now it's smart enough to detect when you're drowsy or inattentive. It has extra capability. I haven't witnessed it, to be honest with you, but evidently if you are tired now, it can recognize that. So fatigue, driver fatigue is being processed now, which is pretty cool. All right, so we are just kind of in a holding pattern waiting for this to update. So let's just see here. Hopefully it's going to fly through the rest of this. My feet are starting to get cold. The lights came on and off, so it must know that I'm sitting in the car. Now I do have these lights on. These lights are not built into the car. So if I turn these off, you're going to see it's a pretty poor, like it doesn't look very good, right? So I've added these separately just so you get a little bit more visibility to the controls in the car. And what I'm going to do as soon as this comes in order to save some time, because I told my wife I'd be home at 7:30. Okay, there we go. It did a couple extra things. It's almost done. Finishing update. Driving disabled. Do not drive until complete. Okay, maybe that's already been there. I told my wife to be home at 7:30. I'm going to blow right past that. That's 10 minutes away here. But what I'm going to do is just jump straight in. I heard there's an update to beach buggy racing. So that sounds really cool. That sounds like there's a couple extra adders. Obviously, before I get started to drive, which I'm going to try to prioritize as quickly as possible, I'm just going to go through the release notes. On my phone, it didn't say anything. It just said minor bug fixes and improvements, and that was it. So I don't know. I think it was Black Model 3 that found out there was an update to beach buggy racing. Usually the update with the games is separate from this. So I don't know if this is coming in right now. That might be why it's taking a little bit longer. I started this update around right around 6:35. So it's been a good 30. Wow. It's been like, yeah, it's been about 40 minutes now. So that's yeah, it's been quite a while, 35-40 minutes. It's still processing here. It should be done really soon. Usually it doesn't take more than 45 minutes. So bear with me, guys. It's almost done, and then we're going to get started with the driving. Check the release notes first. Now, I've been using the single pull method, and I think other people have had that as well prior. I know the single pull was added to the beta stack, or the full self-driving beta stack, or the updates later than what other users have had for a while, it sounds like. So that, for a lot of people, I don't think is going to be new, but that was mentioned, I believe. Here we go. Software updating, rebooting, driving disabled. Okay, so it's rebooting now. But that's been out for a while, so I don't think that's new. But definitely the camera is going to be new. Now, because I'm going from a full self-driving version to another full self-driving version, I'm not going to see all those updates related to the auto steer, because they've already my car, right? So it's going to be a little bit of a unique experience here for people that are watching that are on regular, on the non-self-driving version. Let's see. I'm just waiting for the heat to turn on. It should hopefully turn back on here in a second. Getting really close. All right, guys. I'm getting excited. I hope this includes a lot of fun stuff. I should turn on Santa mode as I do this live stream, but I probably won't, because I'm going to be testing the Autopilot. I'll test the Autopilot. Usually the full self-driving features, it's impossible to notice what's been fixed, and obviously Tesla never tells you exactly unless it's like a new feature. And I did not see any new features in this update. So I think it's just going to be bug fixes. So I'll save the self-driving review for another video. This is going to be centered around the Autopilot. And I'm going to be trying a lot of different things. I'm going to be looking away from the road. I'm going to pretend to be distracted on a phone. I'm going to try covering up the camera. I'm definitely expecting that with this drive, I'm going to be getting a strike. So I'm going to go from 3 to 2. This is a sacrifice, guys. And then if I'm feeling really bold, I'll go down from 2 to 1. But I'm going to definitely have to pull over and put it in park. So I have to re-enable. Because what will happen is if you get, yeah, this is new for people that are watching that have only used the autopilot. With the strike system, it'll say, please pay attention to the road. And if you ignore that, oh, there went the windows again. Cool. Okay, it's booting up. If you ignore all those within a short distance, then you'll get a please pay attention to the road message, right? And then if you continue to misuse the system within a short distance, I think it's like 2 miles. Don't quote me on that, but it's either 2 or 4 miles of driving. Within that short distance, if you abuse it again and you get a second please pay attention to the road message, and then you misuse it one more time and you get a third please pay attention to the road message, that's when you get a strike. So now you cannot use the full self-driving. So I'm going to be testing and seeing if that's the same situation with autopilot. So we are up. Everything's ready to go, guys. Okay, I'm just waiting for the cellular connection to come in, so map data load. And usually with an update, it gives you the software update release notes right on the screen. So let's just wait for the cellular connection, because usually that'll pop up if I'm in my garage and I have a Wi-Fi connection. So let's see here, once the cellular comes in, if it shows those. All right, my stream health is, it's around 1,500 kilobits per second, which isn't that fast. I only have like 1 or 2 bars of cellular. Like I said, I'm using my hotspot for this. Okay, looks like it's still loading, still coming in. The cellular signal is still coming in. There we go. Okay, it's not going to show me the release notes. For some odd reason, it's not coming up. So let's go in here and we'll go to software. It's going to be hard for everybody to see this, but software 11.1, so 2023 4430.1, full self-driving beta 11.4.9, and release notes are over here, but they're grayed out. That's interesting. Why are they grayed out? Huh. I don't know why the release notes are grayed out. I can't even tap on them. Oh, no. I was thinking it might have to do with my driver profile. Strange. Let's go back in there again. Please connect to Wi-Fi to download the game update. Okay, there it is. It says that there's a game update. So I will have to park my car in my garage to get that so I can do that review. But it must be that the release notes have to download after the update. Oh, here they come. Okay, look at that. So interesting. I did not know that. It takes a while to download the release notes once the update comes in over cellular. So here they are. And if I tap on it, it's just saying driving information. And here we get information about the full self-driving beta. So it's not, this is going to be different from everybody else's, like from people that don't have the full self-driving. And it just says minor fixes, like I said before. So that's exactly what my phone was telling me. So it's not really going to explain anything about the autopilot, but let's just look at the settings. It's going to be hard for you to see. I am recording my screen, so I'll upload this to YouTube later so you can get to see the screen at higher resolution, and hopefully it'll have better audio here as well. I started an audio from my phone with a shotgun mic. Right now I'm using the GoPro, so for anybody who just joined, when I get on the highway it might get a little bit noisy. But right now, if I go to the autopilot setting, you can see I'm only, well, hopefully you can see, I'm only using the auto steer setting. So this is the beta. And that's what I'm testing here tonight to see if the camera is operating now with the auto steer. Okay, so hopefully you can see my settings. I'm navigating on autopilot beta, leaving that turned off. So the visualizations, it used to have an option, turn on options. It's not even there anymore. So it looks like it's kind of automatically selecting those. That's interesting. I'm going to turn on the automatic blind spot camera. I did hear someone commenting how there's a better, like a blind spot detection. Like when someone's in your blind spot and you try to initiate a turn, when you change lanes, it shows up like a red symbol on the screen. So we're going to see if that happens here. Okay, and I have, with autopilot, I have a 5 per speed offset. I'm just going to set that to 6. All right, I'm going to go ahead and put in a destination. This is going to take us out on the highway. And you guys are here with me for the next half hour or so. So sit back and enjoy. I hope you guys find this useful. Let me know before I get started. I'm just going to put some tape. I've got something on GoPro that rattles around. I don't want to do that while I'm driving. So glad I remembered that. Okay, that should be all set. Okay, we are ready to go. Okay, so let's see how this operates here, guys. I'm expecting that the camera is going to kick into effect. Let's see. Again, I didn't have any notice of that. Other people that are on the main build are going to see some mention of that. I did post that on my Twitter or X profile, the release notes for the normal group, the standard software group. I'm gonna come out here. After I come out on this main road, that's when I'm gonna turn on the auto steer. So I'm driving manually right now. Let's come on out and turn it on. Ooh, perfect timing. Okay, here we go. Please pay attention to the road. Right there, straight away, it gives me a message. So the reason why that came up, that's a new placement. It was in the upper left area of the screen. The reason that came up is because I was looking away from the screen. I'm guessing here. In the past, with full self-driving, that would only, like if you enabled it and that came up right away, that meant you were already looking away. So that's one precursor for everybody to know, is that you need to be looking at the screen before, at the road, and paying attention before you turn on the auto steer. So now my eyes are looking straight forward at the road. I'm not going to get distracted. Here's the nag. That's more frequent. There it said applies slight force to the steering wheel. It's coming forward to the green light. It requires me to step on the accelerator a little bit to push it through. Now there's nobody in the right lane, but I'm going to change lanes because we are going to be turning right here. And ooh, so it definitely behaves differently. Auto steer behaves differently than the self-driving. Self-driving would not have done that. So now I'm just going to wait here manually and then execute this turn. But we are already seeing evidence of the in-cabin camera working here. So that is really cool to see. Now, like I said, I'm going to be sacrificing a couple strikes for this video. And what I'm going to do for the first one is just cover up with my thumb. I'm going to cover up the camera. And the camera is located right here above the rear view mirror. So I'm going to be covering that up, and that should definitely give me a strike. We're going to confirm that. And then the next thing, and it's really going to pain me to do this, I'm going to force another strike by, well, maybe I'm debating whether I should force another strike, but I'm going to look away for extended periods of time and try to experiment with a couple other things. All right, so let's go ahead and turn it back on. So this is, again, I'm just testing standard auto steer, which is Autopilot, which is available in all the cars. Please pay attention to the road. Wow. So I was already paying attention to the road. It might just be providing that message very proactively to make sure that you know that you need to be paying attention. In the full self-driving build, when you see that message, that's like a stark warning. That's like you are not paying attention, and it's like, oh no. And like I said, if you get 3 of those, the please pay attention to the road message, if you get 3 of those within a short distance, that's when you get your strike. So already I've had 2 messages within a short period. So if I get a 3rd one, it's possible that I'm going to get a strike already. I'm hoping not. But right now, the point of this drive here before I get on the highway is to just check and see with the nag, the steering wheel nag. There we go, apply slight turning force to the steering wheel. So let's just count here. I'm going to keep the pressure on the steering wheel until we start going through this light. And then I'm going to start counting. And like I said before, I was getting up to 45 seconds between steering wheel nags. It was like 30 to 45 seconds. Sometimes it was like around 20. And it's hard to know like how long that's going to be. But I think it's safe to say it's between 20 and 50 seconds when you get the nag. Let's just see if that's kind of the same right now with this update. That's one big fear people have had, is that the nag frequency has been increased. And of course, Tesla doesn't tell you any details about that. So we just kind of have to find out on our own. Okay, so I'm pushing it through this intersection here. Okay, so my hand is on the steering wheel, and what I'm going to do is release it, and we're going to do this test. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So I'm looking straight ahead. 18, 19. Okay, wow. Please pay attention to the road. 19 seconds. Now, I was paying attention to the road. It's possible, I'm guessing it's seeing this light that I'm holding up. It probably thinks this light, ooh, there it is again, please pay attention to the road, does not like this light that I'm holding up. It thinks this is a screen. Okay, so I'm putting some force on the steering wheel, and it was struggling with that. It really doesn't like this light. I'm pretty sure it thinks this light over here is a cellular phone or a mobile device. Wow. Again, I'm paying full attention to the road. I'm looking straight ahead. I'm putting force on the steering wheel when it tells me to, but these pay attention to the road messages, those are concerning to me. And like I said, I believe that has to do with this light that I'm holding up. So, as I mentioned before, the camera is really good at knowing if you're using a phone. So do not abuse that. You'll notice really quickly if you start using your phone, it's going to say, pay attention to the road. Now, I've gotten more than 3 of those messages, please pay attention to the road, within a relatively short distance. So I would have expected that I would have gotten a strike by now, but I have not. So coming up here is the highway. and I'm gonna have to get over. So let's just see, I'm gonna tell it to get over. Look at that, there's the red. Did you see that? Someone was in my blind spot and it showed that on the camera. So that is new. It's unpublished. That is not interesting. So there's nobody on my left, but if someone does come up, I might play with it one more. Yeah, that was cool. That's brand new, having that red gradient on the right side of the camera. That was really neat. So I'm with my right hand, I'm proactively putting force on the steering wheel. Again, I can't emphasize that enough. Being proactive about putting force on the steering wheel is a necessity to avoid misuse. And that will really help you avoid getting these messages. Not only the pay attention to the road messages, but the also the blue indicator. Let's get over to the right here as well. Slow down for them. And I never know with Autopilot if it's going to go through the intersection or not. It went through. The way Autopilot works is that if there's someone in front of you, it'll get pulled through the intersection, which is kind of nice. So here, apply slight turning force to the steering wheel. This is debatable whether it can handle this. Oh, yeah. Going awfully fast here. Yeah. Oh, it made it. Oh gosh. Okay, it went all over the place. Okay, this person behind me is probably wondering. They probably think I'm drunk. That was all over the place. Oh my gosh. Yeah, the person behind me was definitely like, what is this guy doing? So full self-driving would have been a little bit smoother, but that area has always needed some improvement. I'm really embarrassed right now. Like, this person behind me thinks I'm intoxicated for sure. All right, I'm speeding it up. Okay, so my eyes are straight ahead. I have not tried using a mobile device. I have not tried looking away. I'm paying full attention, but like I said, it doesn't like this light in my hand. The nags seem similar. I'm not noticing any significant difference with the nags. So that's a good thing, right? Like the nags, I don't think the nag frequency has been increased. There we go, apply slight turning force. So let's count now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45. Okay, there we go, 45 seconds. So the nags are the same. That's at least my conclusion after this limited amount of testing, but definitely it's using the camera and it's detecting this light in my hand. So the next test here is I'm going to take over here because we need to go left. The next test here is to start abusing the camera. And I'm very familiar with this, okay? So I know what abuse constitutes, like what you can and can't do. You just learn that over time. So everybody that's been using full self-driving just knows how to pay attention to the road. But for everybody that's new, I'm going to tell you right now, don't use your cell phone. It will detect that right away. If you have to check a text or it's like extremely urgent and you can't pull over, I will tell you this. If you're on the highway, no cars around, it's illegal, by the way, in Illinois, in the state of Illinois, to do this. You can't touch or use your phone. So this really depends on the state you live in. But what you can do is take your phone and put it up above your steering wheel and check your text message, and the in-cabin camera won't notice that. It will allow you to actually do that. So that's one little pro tip if you need to use your phone. Absolutely, like this is, I'm talking like urgency, like emergency situation. But it will detect your phone, and what I would suggest is subscribing to premium connectivity. Oh, please pay attention to the road. See, I think it must see the light in my hand. If you subscribe to premium connectivity and you have the self-driving, I think you have to have enhanced autopilot. I'm not sure exactly, but there's a package where you can see the in-cabin camera from your phone, but you have to be subscribed to premium connectivity. There are certain areas where you can hold a device that's outside of the view of the camera, but it makes it really hard to actually use the device. So my advice is just don't use a mobile device at all. Avoid it at all costs, because it is really good at knowing when you're looking at a device. Now, another thing. So that's the first most important thing for everybody that's new to this. Don't use a mobile device. Second thing, looking at the screen. If you're putting in like a new destination, or you're trying some new things on the screen, like you're trying to research where's the next supercharger, or you're diving into the menus for some reason, it will notice that and it will complain. So that's the test I'm gonna do here to get my strike. Apply slight turning force. So there's two ways to get a strike. One is you just ignore that apply turning force to the steering wheel. Like I could ignore that completely, right? Actually, we want to go one more. I could ignore that message completely, and then that's like an instant strike. You're gonna get a strike if you ignore, and that blue bar across the top is flashing, flashing, flashing. That's one way to get a strike. Another way to get a strike is if you get too many pay attention to the road messages. So it used to be 3 within a short distances, and then you'd lose it. You'd get your strike, right? Now it seems that you can get that message coming up quite a bit. So it seems they've added that. They've made it so that that message can come up a lot more frequently. So it's not like before, when I would get that message, it would say, please pay attention to the road, that my heart would sink. I'd be like, oh no, like if you do that too many times, you're gonna get a strike. But as you saw there, I was looking at the whole time, and I kept getting that message. So it's either a lot more sensitive, or it's seeing the light in my hands. So what I'm going to do is, because it's obvious with the blue flashing light, if you don't touch the steering wheel for a really long time, you're going to get a strike. Okay? Just know that. Testing that, doing it, is kind of pointless, because I know what that's what it's going to do, and it's going to say you'll see the message here, because I'm gonna force it, but not with steering, with look. First test I'm gonna do. Actually, you know what? Okay, so I'm debating right now. I wish I could see the comments. Actually, let me do this. I'm gonna back up. I'm gonna see if I can check the comments to see if anybody is watching and can respond to me, because I want to get your feedback on this. It'd be really cool to hear from you guys if I can. To get the okay. Well, three ways. The first, what I mentioned already, is nag on the steering wheel. You're gonna get, now there's 2 ways related to the in-cabin camera, and one of them is you just put your thumb over the camera and you cover it up completely. I'm pretty sure that's going to give you a strike. It's been a really long time since I've tested that. I'll be honest with you, because I don't mess around with it anymore. I'm so used to, being a good person and not abusing it. But I'm pretty sure that's going to give you a strike. So the question is to everybody in the comments right now. I'm going to jump into my up here comments. Do you want me to test by covering up the camera with my thumb, Or do you want me to test by looking away? Because regardless, I'm going to be getting a strike here. So I want to know how you guys want to see it. All right, I'm going into YouTube here. I have no idea how I can see the comments coming in. You'll have to bear with me, guys. Hold on a second here. Let me go in here. See what's going on. I have limited battery on my GoPro, so I can't spend. I don't say your video. Okay. Okay. Yeah, it's not showing. It needs to update. Okay, so you guys are seeing. Can't see, like, can't interact, guys. So sorry about that. Hopefully in their future version I'll figure that part out. Maybe YouTube Studio. Let me just try that one last before I get started. If that allows me to see what you guys are saying. No, I get no notifications. If you guys are watching, throw something in the comments right now. Let me see. I see some stuff from 1 hour ago. I'm not seeing any recent notifications. Usually it would tell me if you guys are commenting on something. What interval? Yeah, I'm just getting